Why hello there! So, while I was working on my review of Hogwarts, an unofficial Harry Potter role-playing game, I found myself in need of a wizardy stock image. So I went on over to Pixabay and typed in wizard and found a pretty good image which met the needs of the project. However, I also found lots of other amazing images which didn't quite meet the needs of that project or any project that I could actually imagine doing. So obviously, what I had to do was invent a project to use these wonderful stock images, which is why I now present the 10 best wizard images from Pixabay. Let's begin, shall we? So first up, number 10. This guy hanging out in front of Saturn. So yeah, it's a guy with a beard and a teal hat just kind of hanging out in front of Saturn. What's he doing there? I don't know. Maybe he just likes it there. Maybe he got lost on his way to the store. I don't know. You don't know. He might know, but he doesn't look like he's telling. But let's not dwell on these questions. Let's move along to number 9. This gentleman looking into a ball of light. Now, this is actually a pretty good image, which is why it's so low on the list, because it's like non-humorously good. Like if I wanted a picture of a wizard, that would probably suit my needs. But let's flip that around with number 8. This guy with the ball of light. So yeah, much like the other one, I didn't have a lot to say about because it was actually kind of good in a non-humorous way. This one's actually just kind of bad in a non-humorous way. I mean, this guy is just here and he's got the ball of light. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I get the feeling that it's supposed to be like inspirational or meaningful or something, and it's just not. So let's just move along to number 7. The edgiest wizard. So yeah, this is basically a D&D character made by someone who's not, completely comfortable yet with the idea of playing Dungeons and Dragons. So, they have to make their character really dark and cool and brooding, because then they're not a nerd because their character's really cool. However, in fairness, I will admit that one of my first characters was a tiefling warlock, so I am a little bit guilty of that as well. But let's not dwell on the past. Let's dwell on number 6. This guy with ice arms. Now, I know this is supposed to be like a funny list where I make sassy comments about bad stock photos, but what can I say about this that it doesn't say about itself? This guy, he's just here with his ice arms, he's flexing them. This is just its own self-contained thing. It is an experience in and of itself. And it is a thing that I cannot explain. And speaking of things I cannot explain, number 5. This collection of images. So, what we've got here is one of them lady wizards and a guy and a big statue. And the guy's looking at the statue, and those are the things in this image. And I don't know what's going on here. Is this supposed to be a whole one scene? Or is the guy in the statue a scene, and then the lady, she's guiding his quest from far away or something, because he's definitely on a quest of some variety. He looks like the questing sort, but I don't know what any of this stuff has to do with the other stuff. It definitely seems like this is all supposed to go together, but I don't quite see how. But I mean, they do kind of go together. It's not like there's just a random giant polar bear or something. So, number 4, this random giant polar bear and lady in a nice dress. Yeah, that pretty much sums up what is going on in this image. don't really know what to say about it, but I have questions. Namely, as stated, these are all images that came up when I searched for wizard, so is she the wizard? Is the bear the wizard? Did a wizard, like, send the bear? And for what purpose? I don't know. And I don't think that anyone knows, because I have a strong suspicion that this image doesn't actually have any type of coherent anything to it. And speaking of incoherent, number 3. This menagerie of visual things. So it seems fairly obvious that this is supposed to be some kind of reimagining of The Wizard of Oz, albeit one constructed entirely out of photos and illustrations and 3D models, all just kind of cobbled together into this. Like, nothing here goes together. There's no consistent sense of depth or scale, and that key has a white border on it. They didn't even go through the trouble of removing a white border from the key. And oddly enough, the least unsettling thing here is that sexy Tin Man. But let us just put that out of our minds for now and move on to number 2. This absolute masterpiece. So let's just take a second and unpack what we have here. We have a lovely moonlit scene with a little guy, looks like possibly a goblin in a top hat, driving a pumpkin carriage being pulled by a jaguar, all rendered in what seems like early 2000s CGI. That is an apt description of this image. Now, unlike the polar bear image, I don't need to question who the wizard is in this picture, because it's very clear that a wizard made it. Because no one other than a wizard could possibly craft an image of such immense arcane power. And that leaves us only with number 1. This whole situation. Alright, so let's first just go over what we have here. There is a wizard, and he has his wand out, casting bear, while 2 other bears battle in the foreground. And this gives me lots of questions, like, why is the wizard summoning a bear? Why are the bears fighting? Did the wizard summon those other bears too? Is the bear that the wizard is summoning coming to stop the bear fighting? Is it going to stop the fighting via, like, peace brokering or via destruction? Is the wizard really, really big, or are the bears really, really small, or is this just hierarchical scale? I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows, because the answer to these questions would tear our concept of reality apart at the very seams, and that is generally not a good idea. Like, it's good sometimes, but usually not. And there we have it, the top 10 best wizard images from Pixabay. I have included links to all of these images in the description in case you would like to download them and use them in your projects, because you should. These images deserve to be used because they are amazing. Alright, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, then you should hit all those nice buttons down there, because I had to record this thing 3 times, and I would appreciate it. So do you have any interesting interpretations of any of these photos? Let me know down in the comments. It'll be fun. Well, until next time.